I'm Jared Brown with the Memphis Tiger Network here in FedEx Forum, just a few days removed from the Tigers' big win over Gonzaga on Saturday, and the Tigers hosted the UCF Knights, escaping with a 76-70 win, closing out a perfect three-game homestand. The Knights got the scoring going with a triple before Austin Nichols and Shaq Goodwin hit back-to-back buckets to give Memphis an early 4-3 lead. UCF stayed close and held a 16-13 advantage 8 minutes into the game, but the Tigers responded after a Joe Jackson layup would spark a 16-0 run for the Tigers over the next 5 minutes of play with a Chris Crawford triple and Nick King tip-in to cap the Tigers' run, giving Memphis a 29-16 lead with 6:50 to play in the half. UCF followed suit with a run of their own to pull within 3 with 3 to play, but once again Jackson ended their run with a layup and a triple to extend the Tigers' lead back to 34-27 with under 2 minutes left to play in the half. The Knights answered right back with a triple, but a jumper at the buzzer by David Pelham gave the Tigers a 36-30 lead at the break. Austin Nichols pushed Memphis' lead to 8 right out of the locker room, but the Knights responded with a 9-0 run after 5 points from Isaiah Sykes to take a 39-38 advantage with 15 minutes left to play in the game. Both teams traded baskets over the next several minutes until a 3 from Chris Crawford gave the Tigers a 3-point lead at 51-48 with 9 minutes to go. A layup from Shaq Goodwin made it a 53-48 game, but UCF kept it close with buckets from Justin McBride and Casey Wilson to pull the Knights within just 1 point. After a missed free throw from Goodwin, Jackson came down with a big offensive rebound and a putback to draw a foul to extend the Tigers' lead to 57-52. David Pelham then came up with another offensive board off Jackson's missed free throw before Michael Dixon Jr. drove the baseline to make it a 59-52 contest with 15:42 left. Memphis pushed the lead to 14 thanks to 4 big points from Pelham, including a big breakaway dunk with 3 minutes to play. The Knights trimmed the deficit to as little as 6 over the final minutes of play, but that's as close as they'd get as Memphis held on for a 76-70 victory. Joe Jackson led Memphis again with 18 points while adding 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Shaq Goodwin totaled 14 points on 7 of 10 shooting and a team-high 6 boards. Chris Crawford and Michael Dixon also notched double figures with 10 points apiece. After the game, we caught up with a few of the players and head coach Josh Pastner.
They got a lot of offensive rebounds. They're an offensive rebounding team. The first half, I believe, the first 10 minutes, they had about 7 or 8 rebounds, offensive rebounds. So we did a little bit of a bad job on the defensive rebounding, but you know it's okay.
Yeah,
we got
19
the win.
Offensive rebounds. So the coach wasn't happy about that.
Wasn't happy at all, but he's happy with the win.
Right.
I mean, you said they're a good team. Let's not say that. I don't think they're better than that. Yeah, they're better than their record. But you know, they're a good team and they're very well coached. But you know, as a group for us, I don't feel like we had as much energy out there tonight as we could have. And you know, we just got to get back in the lab and get better at that. And we got a couple days to get better and just get better as a team. And you know, we're gonna be ready to play on Saturday.
We got a lot of mental makeup, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is a tough league. UCF doesn't have probably the record that they want, but they've been in a lot of ball games, and they played a lot of ball games to the end. They got shooters, and they got a guy that can, you know what I mean, play make for them. And they do a great job on the offensive glass. So, I mean, they're not a bad team by any means. You know what I mean? We didn't play the way that we were supposed to necessarily, but we came out with the win, and that's all that really matters in the end.
You got to give Central Florida credit. But you know, we got the W. That's the bottom line. So we found a way to get the win. I didn't think we were real sharp in some things, and there's nothing about a trap game or anything like that. Championship teams got to play at a championship level every time you step on the floor. And I felt our energy was fine. It wasn't our energy. It was just, I didn't think some of our execution in some areas we were real good, and obviously they kicked our butt on the glass. That was a big thing, and we got to have, you know, Shaq, even though he played well offensively, we got to have more, and he did a good job defensively guarding ball screens. He didn't do a good job on the glass. We need him to be better on the defensive end on the glass. He's vital for us. We need Chris Crawford to have more defensive rebounds. He's a guy that can be a great defensive rebounder. That's important for us. You know, so we need him to be better in that. I thought David Pelham came in and gave us good minutes. Now, Chris Crawford did hit a couple big threes for us that stretched the game. That was big. But David Pelham came through for us, with some 50-50 balls. That was very, very important off those free throw line box outs. And then and Joe had a great stat line, 18, 5, and 5. So we were very happy to get the win. Donnie Jones is, one of my great friends of all time, and they're just, they're better than their record, and they're well coached, and, they played well, and you got to give them a lot of credit.
The Tigers now get set to go back on the road on Saturday, traveling to Hartford, Connecticut to take on the Yukon Huskies and redeem themselves from a loss earlier in the season. From the FedEx Forum, I'm Jared Brown with the Memphis Tiger Network.